Hello and welcome. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine perfection. Not the fleeting perfection of a beautiful sunset or a perfect moment of joy, but true, absolute, eternal perfection. Goodness so pure it burns away all doubt, all shadow, all corruption. A place where every stone, every breath of wind, every ray of light exists in harmony with a cosmic order so complete that evil itself cannot survive there. This is Mount Celestia, the seven heavens, the shining peak at the edge of reality where mortal souls climb toward divinity itself. And tonight, you and I are going to ascend that mountain together, layer by layer, heaven by heaven, until we stand as close to the ultimate truth as any mortal mind can bear. Mount Celestia is one of the outer planes, those infinite realms that exist beyond the material world, beyond the veil of stars and the boundaries of mortal understanding. While your everyday life unfolds in towns and cities, forests, and mountains of the prime material plane, the outer planes represent pure concepts made manifest. Mount Celestia embodies lawful good, the perfect marriage of order and compassion, justice and mercy, structure and kindness. It is not simply a place where good beings live. It is goodness itself, crystallized into reality, shaped into a mountain so vast that its base disappears into infinite silver seas, and its peak touches the very essence of divinity. The plain takes the form of a massive mountain, though calling it a mountain hardly does it justice. Imagine a peak so enormous that entire kingdoms could exist on a single slope, so tall that climbing from base to summit represents not a journey of miles, but a journey of the soul itself. This mountain is divided into 7 distinct layers, 7 heavens stacked one atop another, each one representing a higher degree of goodness, a purer expression of lawful virtue. To ascend from one layer to the next requires more than physical climbing. It demands spiritual growth, moral perfection, the shedding of flaws, and the embrace of increasingly pure ideals. The lowest layer, called Lunia, rests upon an endless silver sea beneath a sky of eternal twilight. Here, the mountain's base spreads wide, and this is where most visitors first arrive, where petitioners, the souls of the virtuous dead, begin their eternal journey upward. From Lunia, the mountain rises through Mercuria with its golden light and martial perfection. Then to Venya, where knowledge and wisdom dominate. Then Selenia, with its gentle healing slopes. Then Mercian, where crystalline beauty reflects inner purity. Then Jovar, where gemstone mountains glitter with radiant power. And finally to Cronia's, the 7th and highest heaven, the illuminated peak, where even celestial beings rarely tread. For it is said that Cronia's exists so close to the divine source that mortal minds cannot comprehend what transpires there. Understanding Mount Celestia requires understanding its place in the greater cosmology of the multiverse. The outer planes arrange themselves according to alignment. The fundamental moral and ethical orientations that define behavior and belief. Mount Celestia sits in the realm of lawful good, positioned cosmically between Arcadia, which leans more heavily toward law than good, and Bitopia, which balances law and good with a greater emphasis on industrious virtue. Mount Celestia represents the ideal that goodness need not be chaotic or unstructured, that compassion and justice can work hand in hand, that mercy can exist within a framework of divine law. But Mount Celestia is not merely a philosophical concept. It is a real place, as solid and tangible as any mountain range in the material world, yet infused with properties that defy mortal understanding. The very stone of the mountain resonates with goodness. Water from its streams can heal wounds and purify corruption. The air itself carries a quality that lifts the spirit and strengthens resolve. Evil creatures who attempt to enter Mount Celestia find the environment actively hostile to their presence. The light burns them, the ground rejects their footsteps, and the very nature of the plane seeks to transform or expel them. The mountain serves as home to countless celestial beings. Angels of various orders maintain vigil here, serving the divine powers who make their realms upon the slopes. Archons, the native exemplar race of Mount Celestia, embody lawful good in its purest form. These beings of living virtue patrol the layers, guide petitioners on their journey upward, and defend the mountain against any force that would threaten its sanctity. Archons range from the lantern archons, simple spheres of light newly formed from virtuous souls, all the way to the mighty tome archons and throne archons, who command legions and serve as generals in the eternal struggle against evil. Petitioners, the souls of mortals who lived lawful good lives, arrive on Lunia and begin their ascent. Unlike some outer planes where petitioners simply exist in their afterlife, Mount Celestia offers a path of continued growth. A petitioner on Lunia is not the same as they will be on Mercuria or Venia. Each layer demands growth, understanding, and transformation. A petitioner might spend centuries on a single layer, learning its lessons, embodying its virtues, before they are ready to climb higher. Some petitioners never ascend beyond the first or second layer. Others make it to the middle heights. Only the truly exceptional souls reach the upper layers, and the seventh heaven, Cronias, remains forever beyond the reach of all but the most pure and perfect beings. The gods themselves have claimed realms on Mount Celestia. Bahamut, the platinum dragon and lord of good dragons, maintains his palace on the first layer of Lunia. Tyr, god of justice, once dwelled here before his death and subsequent return. Torm, the god of duty and loyalty, has his court of light on the second layer. Ilmater, the god of endurance and suffering, finds his place among these heavens as well. These deities and others have chosen Mount Celestia because it resonates with their divine nature, because its ordered goodness matches their own cosmic purpose. Mount Celestia plays a crucial role in the eternal conflict known as the Blood War, the endless battle between demons and devils that rages across the lower planes. While the blood war is primarily fought between chaotic evil and lawful evil forces, Mount Celestia and other upper planes cannot ignore its implications. Archons from Mount Celestia sometimes descend to intervene in the blood war, not to aid either side, but to prevent the conflict from spilling into other planes or to rescue trapped souls. The mountain also serves as a rallying point for celestial forces when evil threatens the multiverse on a grand scale. The path up the mountain is both literal and metaphorical. Physically, one can attempt to climb from layer to layer, but without the proper spiritual development, no amount of physical effort will carry you higher. The passages between layers are guarded not by locks and keys, but by moral requirements. To pass from Lunia to Mercuria, you must demonstrate the martial courage and righteous strength that defines the second heaven. To pass from Mercuria to Venia, you must show that you value wisdom and knowledge as paths to goodness. Each transition demands proof that you have internalized the lessons of the current layer and are ready for the next stage of spiritual development. This creates a unique environment where physical space and moral state intertwine. You might stand at the base of the passage to the next layer, see it clearly before you, yet find yourself unable to step through because your soul has not yet achieved the necessary purity. Other times, a petitioner or visitor might not even realize they are ready to ascend until they find themselves naturally drawn upward, the way opening before them as their inner development aligns with the requirements of the higher heaven. Mount Celestia maintains perfect balance in its expression of lawful good. The law here is not tyrannical or rigid for its own sake. Every rule, every structure, every hierarchy exists to serve goodness and promote the welfare of all. The goodness here is not chaotic or whimsical. It follows patterns, operates according to principles, and builds upon itself in ordered progression. This is what makes Mount Celestia distinct from Elysium, where goodness is more neutral and free-flowing, or from Arcadia, where law sometimes overshadows compassion. The plane operates on its own temporal scale as well. Time passes on Mount Celestia, but not necessarily in sync with the material plane or other outer planes. A visitor might spend what feels like a year on the mountain, only to return home and discover that 10 years have passed, or conversely, that only a day has elapsed. This temporal flexibility serves the mountain's purpose. Souls and beings exist here to grow and learn, and time bends to accommodate that growth rather than forcing development into arbitrary schedules. The environment of Mount Celestia adjusts to reflect the virtue of each layer. Lunia's soft silver twilight creates an atmosphere of peaceful beginning, a gentle welcome to those who have earned their place here. As you ascend, each layer presents its own unique character, its own challenges and beauties. The golden daylight of Mercuria inspires martial vigor. The scholarly halls of Venia encourage contemplation. The pastoral beauty of Selenia offers rest and healing. crystalline structures of Mershin reflect inner clarity. The gemstone radiance of Jovar blazes with nearly unbearable purity. And Cronia's, the summit, exists in a state that mortal language cannot adequately describe. Magic functions differently on Mount Celestia as well. Spells that align with the plane's nature, spells of healing, protection, and aiding others, work more powerfully here. Conversely, magic designed to harm, to control others against their will, or to promote selfish ends weakens or fails entirely. Even magical items carry a sense of the plane's influence. An evil artifact brought to Mount Celestia might find its powers suppressed or even transformed. The plane itself resists corruption at every level. Visitors to Mount Celestia must understand that they are guests in a realm of profound sanctity. The plane does not demand instant perfection from visitors, but it does demand respect and genuine good intent. Those who come seeking power for selfish ends find themselves unable to progress. Those who come with even slight evil in their hearts feel uncomfortable, as though the light itself judges them. Only those with sincere goodness in their intentions can fully appreciate and navigate the seven heavens. The mountain's cosmological position also means it shares borders with adjacent planes. At its edges, where the mountain's influence fades, connections exist to Arcadia on one side and Bitopia on the other. These borders are not sharp lines, but gradual transitions, where the nature of one plane slowly gives way to another. A traveler moving from Mount Celestia toward Arcadia would notice the light becoming more uniform, the emphasis shifting from goodness toward law. Moving toward Bitopia, the structured layers would begin to give way to the twin layers of that industrious plane. Throughout all seven layers, throughout every realm and domain within Mount Celestia, a single theme pervades: the pursuit of perfection through lawful goodness. This is not perfection as an unattainable ideal, but as an active journey. Every soul on the mountain, from the newest petitioner on Lunia to the most ancient Archons serving in the highest reaches, continues to grow, continues to refine their virtue, continues to climb toward an ultimate goodness that, while perhaps never fully reached, draws all who dwell here ever upward. As we prepare to explore each layer in detail, understand that Mount Celestia represents something profound in the cosmology of Dungeons and Dragons. It is proof that goodness can be eternal, that virtue can be structured, that paradise exists not as a static reward, but as an ongoing journey of improvement. It stands as a beacon to the multiverse, a reminder that no matter how dark the material world becomes, no matter how fierce the battles between good and evil, there exists a place where good has already won, where evil cannot stand, where every soul has the opportunity to become its best possible self. The seven heavens of Mount Celestia wait for us. Layer by layer, we will climb this cosmic mountain together. We will walk the silver shores of Lunia, train on the golden fields of Mercuria, study in the pearl libraries of Venia, rest in the silver valleys of Selenia, marvel at the platinum structures of Mershin. Witness the glittering gemstone peaks of Jovar, and contemplate the mystery of Cronias, the illuminated summit where divinity itself dwells. Section 2. Lunia, the silver heaven. You arrive on Mount Celestia through water. This is the first truth that every traveler learns. When you step through a portal, when you cross the threshold from another plane, when you transition from the astral sea into the realm of the seven heavens, you emerge not on solid ground, but in the middle of an endless ocean. The silver sea surrounds you immediately, its waters lapping against your skin with a sensation unlike any mundane water you have ever touched. This sea is holy water, every drop of it blessed by the very nature of the plane itself. For those with goodness in their hearts, the water feels refreshing, cool, and welcoming. For evil beings attempting to enter Mount Celestia, the silver sea burns like acid, searing flesh and spirit alike, serving as the first and most fundamental defense of the heavenly realm. The layer you have entered is Lunia, the silver heaven, the first and lowest of Mount Celestia's 7 layers. Rising from the silver sea, the great mountain itself dominates the landscape. A massive peak of silver-white marble that gleams even in the perpetual twilight that defines this layer. The sky above Lunia never knows true day or night in the way mortals understand it. Instead, a soft twilight pervades everything, illuminated by countless stars that shine with silvery radiance. These are not ordinary stars. They burn with a clarity and brightness that allows you to see perfectly well despite the eternal nighttime atmosphere. The light they cast is gentle, peaceful, creating an environment that feels like a warm summer evening that never ends. Looking toward the mountain from the silver sea, you can make out the shoreline in the distance. Black sand beaches stretch along the coast, a stark contrast to the silver-white marble of the mountain and the blue-silver water of the sea. Upon these beaches and the lower slopes rising just beyond them, white stone citadels and fortresses stand, their polished walls reflecting the starlight. These are not military fortifications in the traditional sense, though they serve defensive purposes. Rather, they are gathering places, communities where petitioners and celestial beings live as they begin or oversee the great journey upward. The silver sea itself teems with life. White dolphins leap from the water in graceful arcs, their bodies gleaming in the starlight. Flying fish skim the surface, their fins catching the gentle breeze. Majestic Ballina whales, enormous and ancient, move through the deep waters with slow dignity. All of these creatures are peaceful, representing the harmonious life that flourishes in this blessed environment. Some aquatic celestials make the silver sea their permanent home, never seeking to climb the mountain, but instead serving as guardians of the waters and guides to new arrivals. As you swim toward shore, if you look around at the sea stretching to the horizon, you might notice distant structures rising from the water. These are the portal stones, monumental granite monuments that serve as gateways to other planes. Touch one of these stones, and you can traverse to Arcadia, the realm of perfect law and order, or to Bitopia, the twin paradises of industrious goodness. These lateral connections allow movement between the upper planes without requiring travel through the astral sea. Though most who come to Mount Celestia come with the intention of climbing, not leaving. Reaching the black sand beach, you pull yourself from the silver sea and stand for the first time on the shores of Lunia proper. The sand beneath your feet feels solid and real, yet even it carries a quality of sanctity. Everything here, from the smallest grain of sand to the mightiest Archon, exists in alignment with lawful good. As you look up the beach, you see the paths leading inland toward the base of the mountain proper, and you begin to understand the geography of this layer. Lunia divides into roughly 2 zones. The coastal region, where you now stand, contains most of the population and activity. Here, the towns and citadels provide shelter and community. Heart's Faith, one such town, nestles against the lower slopes, a humble collection of buildings where petitioners live simple, virtuous lives as they prepare for their ascent. Castle Malhivik rises nearby, a fortress maintained by Lord Malhivik and his followers. These settlements exist to support the ultimate purpose of Lunia, preparing souls for the climb. The second zone begins where the mountain itself rises steeply from the coastal plain. A massive structure known as Heaven's Wall marks this transition, a protective barrier that shields the main climbing paths from any threats that might emerge from the Silver Sea. Only one passage exists through Heaven's Wall, Heaven's Gate, the official entrance to the ascending paths. This gate is not locked, but neither is it unguarded. Those who would pass through must demonstrate their sincere intention to learn and grow. Everywhere you look on Lunia, you see lights floating through the air. These are lantern Archons, the most numerous celestial beings on this layer, and perhaps in all of Mount Celestia. Lantern Archons appear as simple spheres of light, glowing orbs that drift through the twilight air. Do not mistake their simple appearance for weakness or lack of awareness. Each Lantern Archon is a fully conscious being, possessed of intelligence, purpose, and virtue. Most Lantern Archons are newly formed from the souls of petitioners who lived exceptionally good lives in the mortal world. When a mortal soul arrives on Lunia and demonstrates sufficient virtue, it may be transformed into a Lantern Archon, beginning its existence as a celestial being rather than merely a petitioner soul. The Lantern Archons serve crucial functions on Lunia. They provide illumination, their collective glow adding to the starlight and making the layer brighter and more welcoming. They serve as scouts and sentinels, their light revealing hidden evils and exposing deceptions. An evil creature attempting to disguise itself on Lunia will find its true nature illuminated when Lantern Archons draw near. Despite their defensive role, Lantern Archons are not warriors. They lack the martial power to fight effectively against determined enemies. This creates an interesting dynamic on Lunia, where the most numerous guardians are also the most vulnerable. The vulnerability of Lantern Archons relates directly to one of Lunia's most important purposes: redemption. Lunia is the threshold layer, the place where souls arrive regardless of their ultimate potential. A soul that barely qualified as lawful good in life arrives here alongside souls of profound virtue. Even beings with some evil in their hearts can reach Lunia if they demonstrate genuine desire to change, to learn, to grow toward goodness. This openness creates risk. Devils and other evil beings sometimes infiltrate Lunia, seeking to corrupt the virtuous or establish footholds from which to attack higher layers. The more powerful Archons, the trumpet Archons and sword Archons, with their militant strength, rarely patrol Lunia. They remain on higher layers or respond only to significant threats. This deliberate vulnerability serves a purpose. By keeping the heavily armed Archons away from Lunia, the layer maintains an atmosphere where evil beings have opportunity to genuinely repent without fear of immediate destruction. A devil who has grown weary of the blood war, who seeks escape from the tyranny of the 9 hells, can reach Lunia, and, if its repentance is sincere, begin the long journey toward redemption. The Lantern Archons, while unable to fight such a being effectively, can reveal its true nature with their light, warning others and summoning aid if the evil proves false. Between the Lantern Archons, another type of Archon walks the shores and slopes of Lunia, the Hound Archons. These beings appear as humanoids with the heads of noble dogs, wearing gleaming mail and carrying greatswords. Hound Archons represent the next stage of celestial development, when a Lantern Archon learns the lessons of Lunia, when it grows in virtue and understanding. It ascends to become a Hound Archon. This transformation is profound. The simple sphere of light gains a body, becomes capable of speech and physical action in ways it could not before. Hound Archons are noble beings, honest and righteous. Though they express their virtue in more subdued ways than some celestials, they tend toward quiet strength rather than boastful displays. Most Hound Archons, upon their transformation, are permitted to ascend to the second layer, Mercuria, where they continue their development. Some choose to remain on Lunia, serving as teachers and guides to newer petitioners and Lantern Archons. Others return to Lunia periodically to check on those they once knew, or to assist in defending the layer. The Hound Archons you see walking the beach paths are likely engaged in such service, helping others begin the same journey they themselves have traveled. Guarding the actual passages between layers are the Warden Archons, imposing beings that appear as large Hound Archons with bare heads. These stoic celestials are self-contained and serious. They do not patrol or involve themselves in the daily life of Lunia. Instead, they station themselves at the paths leading upward to Mercuria. When you have traveled far enough up the mountain, when you believe yourself ready to ascend to the second heaven, you will encounter a Warden Archon. This meeting is inevitable for anyone who wishes to climb higher. The Warden Archon will test you, not with riddles or combat, though those might be part of the test depending on your nature and the path you have walked. Rather, the warden will present you with a task that requires virtue to complete. It might be something that would be easy to accomplish through cheating, through selfishness, through sacrifice of others for your own benefit. The test ensures that only those who have truly internalized the lessons of Lunia, who have embraced goodness not just in word, but in deed, can pass to the higher layers. Fail the test, and you are not destroyed or punished. You simply find yourself unable to proceed, and you must return down the mountain to continue your growth until you are ready to try again. The mountain itself on Lunia presents a unique aspect that relates directly to the spiritual state of those who attempt to climb it. From the perspective of an evil being, the slopes above the coastal region appear as sheer cliffs, unclimbable walls of marble stretching upward with no handholds, no paths, nothing but smooth stone rising impossibly high. To such a being, Lunia lives up to its name as an eternal mountain, a peak forever beyond reach. But to someone with goodness in their heart, someone genuinely willing to learn and grow, the same cliffs appear different. Cracks appear in the stone. Handholds become visible. What seemed like a sheer wall reveals itself as a challenging but climbable slope. Those with even greater virtue might see the cracks widen into small valleys, actual paths leading upward that make the journey less physically demanding. This phenomenon is not illusion or trickery. The mountain truly is different depending on who views it. Mount Celestia responds to the spiritual state of those upon it, revealing more of itself to those whose virtue aligns with its nature. This means that two travelers standing side by side might see completely different landscapes. One sees an impossible cliff, the other sees a navigable path. Both are seeing truth from their own perspective. The climbing paths themselves follow different virtues. There is no single route up the mountain. Instead, multiple paths wind upward, each one dedicated to a specific virtue. Humility, generosity, devotion, honor, and others. You must choose which path to walk, and that choice matters. As you progress up the path, you will face situations and challenges designed to test and develop that particular virtue. Someone walking the path of humility will encounter different experiences than someone walking the path of devotion. All paths lead upward. All paths bring you closer to the passages where warden Archons wait. But each path shapes you differently. Life on Lunia, for petitioners and visitors alike, revolves around this preparation for ascent. The communities along the shore provide what you need: shelter, food, companionship, teaching. But none of these things are the point. They are support for the true purpose, which is growth. Vendors in these communities sell equipment and supplies at cost, demonstrating generosity as part of their own virtuous path. Teachers share knowledge freely. Those who have climbed higher and returned offer advice and encouragement. Money has less meaning here than in mortal realms. Travelers on Lunia typically carry only what they need for their journey, nothing more. accumulation of wealth serves no purpose when the goal is spiritual ascent. This does not mean Lunia operates on a barter system or that everyone is poor. Rather, the economy serves virtue. People exchange goods and services in ways that demonstrate and develop goodness. A blacksmith might forge a sword for a petitioner about to climb, asking no payment, but that the petitioner use the sword in service of good. The weather on Lunia remains consistently pleasant. The eternal twilight never becomes dark night or bright day. The temperature stays comfortably cool, perfect for the physical exertion of climbing. When rain falls, it comes as gentle showers, refreshing rather than drenching, never enough to make the mountain paths dangerous. Everything about the environment supports the work of ascent. Standing on the shore of Lunia, looking up at the mountain rising into the starlit sky, you understand that this layer is about beginning. Every journey up Mount Celestia starts here. Every petitioner soul, every virtuous mortal seeking to experience the heavens, every celestial being who has climbed from Lantern Archon to Hound Archon and beyond, all of them began on these black sand beaches. Lunia is the foundation upon which all other layers rest, the place where the soul first confronts what it means to truly pursue goodness. The challenges of Lunia are not physical. The mountain is climbable by anyone with decent health and determination. The Silver Sea, while vast, is navigable. The celestial beings who inhabit this layer are helpful and welcoming. The real challenge is internal. Are you willing to change? Are you willing to confront your flaws? Are you willing to grow beyond who you currently are? Lunia asks these questions of everyone who arrives, and it waits patiently for the answers. There is no time limit. You can spend centuries on Lunia if needed. The mountain will still be there. The paths will still lead upward. The Warden Archons will still guard the passages, ready to test you when you finally approach. For some petitioners, Lunia is enough. They arrive, they find peace in the communities along the shore, and they remain there, content with their place in paradise. Mount Celestia does not judge them for this choice. Not every soul is meant to climb to the seventh heaven. Simply existing in Lunia, in a realm of eternal goodness, represents a reward beyond anything available in the mortal world. These souls contribute to the life of the layer, helping newer arrivals, maintaining the citadels, living virtuous lives in a virtuous place. But for those who feel the call upward, who sense that their journey is not complete, Lunia is a beginning full of promise and challenge. The silver heaven welcomes you, tests you gently, and prepares you for the greater tests that await on the layers above. When you finally stand before a Warden Archon, when you complete the test and receive permission to ascend, when you take your first steps onto Mercuria, the second heaven, you will carry everything you learned on Lunia with you. The foundation built here supports all higher growth. Section 3. Mercuria and Venya, the golden and pearly heavens. You pass the test. The Warden Archon nods solemnly, and the path before you, which moments ago appeared as solid stone, opens into a passage. You step through, and everything changes. The gentle silver twilight of Lunia vanishes, replaced instantly by brilliant golden light. You have arrived on Mercuria, the golden heaven, the second layer of Mount Celestia. The first sensation that strikes you is the light itself, where Lunia's starlit twilight created a peaceful, restful atmosphere. Mercuria blazes with golden radiance that seems to come from everywhere at once. The clouds themselves glow, suffusing the entire layer in warm amber light that resembles eternal dawn. This is not the harsh brightness of noon sun that makes you squint and seek shade. Rather, it is the soft, inspiring light of sunrise, the golden hour that photographers and artists prize. Stretched out into infinity, the light fills you with energy, with purpose, with a desire to act and achieve. The second sensation is physical. The air here is thinner than on Lunia. You take a breath and find it does not quite fill your lungs the way you expect. New arrivals to Mercuria often feel lightheaded, even giddy, as their bodies adjust to the reduced atmosphere. This is not dangerous. Your body adapts quickly, and within a short time the sensation fades, but it serves as a clear reminder that you have climbed higher, that each layer of Mount Celestia presents new challenges, new adjustments required. The geography of Mercuria differs dramatically from Lunia's coastal shores. Here, young mountains thrust high into the golden sky, their peaks sharp and dramatic. Deep valleys cut between these peaks, and through those valleys rush rivers fed by snowmelt from the heights above. The water runs fast and clear, creating waterfalls and rapids that fill the air with the sound of rushing water. Between the mountains spread verdant grasslands, impossibly green and lush. Wildflowers in every color bloom across these meadows, and the grass itself seems to glow slightly in the golden light. Marble avenues wind through the landscape, connecting various settlements and training grounds. These are not crude dirt paths, but actual paved roads, white marble polished smooth by countless feet over countless ages. The roads make travel easier, but they also serve a symbolic purpose, where Lunia emphasized individual journeys and personal paths up the mountain. Mercuria introduces more structure, more organization. The roads represent shared purpose, common cause. As you walk these marble avenues, you begin to notice the true nature of Mercuria. This is Mount Celestia's armory, its mustering ground, its place of martial preparation. Where Lunia focused on initial growth and basic virtue, Mercuria demands something more specific: righteous strength, the courage to fight for good, the discipline to train and prepare for the eternal struggle against evil. All around you, evidence of this martial focus appears. Mausolea line the green slopes, monuments to paladins and champions who died in service to good. These are not somber, sorrowful places. Instead, they celebrate the lives and deeds of the fallen. Each mausoleum tells a story in carved marble and inscribed text. Here rests a paladin who defended a village against a demon horde. there lies a champion who gave her life to seal a portal to the abyss. These monuments inspire rather than sadden, reminding all who see them that fighting for good is the highest calling, and death in such service earns eternal honor. Once per year, Mercuria celebrates the Day of Memory. On this day, Archons and petitioners gather at the mausolea to remember the fallen, to tell their stories, to ensure that their sacrifices are never forgotten. The Day of Memory is not about grief. It is about gratitude and inspiration, about renewing one's commitment to the same righteous path these champions walked. Training grounds spread across Mercuria's meadows and valleys. Here, petitioners who were warriors in life hone their skills to even greater heights. Archons drill in formation, practicing tactics for the battles they will fight against fiends. The clash of weapons rings out constantly, though always in practice, never in anger. Sword Archons, mighty celestials clad in gleaming armor and wielding flaming blades, oversee much of this training. These powerful beings represent the martial ideal that Mercuria promotes. Strength tempered by goodness, might wielded only in service of right. Walking past one training ground, you might see hound Archons who ascended from Lunia, now learning combat techniques they never needed on the first layer. Nearby, trumpet Archons, celestials with metallic skin and powerful voices, practice their battle hymns. When a trumpet Archon blows its horn in combat, the sound itself becomes a weapon against evil, inspiring allies and striking fear into fiends. Here on Mercuria, these Archons train endlessly, perfecting their abilities for the battles to come. The hum of distant horns drifts through the air constantly. These are not alarm calls or signals of danger. Rather, they are practice, training, and sometimes celebration. The sound adds to Mercuria's atmosphere, a reminder that this layer prepares warriors of goodness for the conflicts that rage across the multiverse. In the distance, gleaming against the golden sky, you spot something extraordinary, a palace of breathtaking beauty, its walls made of mithril, its windows formed of precious gems. This is Bahamut's jeweled palace, home of the platinum dragon, god of good dragons, and patron of justice and nobility. The palace is not permanently fixed to Mercuria. Bahamut's realm moves between layers, sometimes appearing on Lunia, sometimes on Mercuria, sometimes on Venia or Selenia, but Mercuria is its primary location, the layer where it rests most often. 7 great worms, ancient dragons of gold, silver, and bronze, serve as guardians of the palace. These are not mere servants, but honored companions of Bahamut himself. Dragons who have achieved such virtue and wisdom that the platinum dragon welcomes them into his household. The sight of these magnificent creatures flying above the palace, their scales catching the golden light, inspires awe in all who witness it. Other divine realms exist on Mercuria as well. Amaterasu, goddess of the sun and order, maintains a domain here. Torm, the god of duty, loyalty, and righteousness, has his court of light on this layer. Giru, a deity of fire and justice, also claims territory on the Golden Heaven. These divine presences reinforce Mercuria's character as a place of active goodness, of virtue expressed through strength and action. The lesson of Mercuria is clear. Goodness must be defended. It is not enough to be virtuous in your heart. You must also be willing to stand against evil, to fight when fighting is necessary, to train and prepare so that when the moment comes, you have the strength to act. This does not mean Mercuria glorifies violence or promotes conflict for its own sake. The martial training here always serves a higher purpose. You learn to fight so that innocence need not. You develop strength so that you can protect the weak. You master weapons so that evil cannot triumph through superior force. Petitioners on Mercuria often spend long periods in training. A soul who was a farmer in life, who never held a weapon, might arrive here and discover a calling as a warrior of good. The layer provides what is needed: teachers, equipment, time to learn. Other petitioners who were soldiers or warriors in mortal life find that they must unlearn certain habits. Mortal warfare often involves tactics that serve victory, but not goodness. Here, you learn to fight with honor, to show mercy when possible, to never sacrifice innocence for strategic advantage. As you continue your journey across Mercuria, climbing higher along the mountain slopes, you notice the air growing even thinner. The golden light remains constant, but the landscape begins to shift subtly. The sharp young peaks give way to older formations. The slopes become less steep. The rushing rivers slow into trickling brooks. You are approaching the passage to the third layer, to Venya. The warden Archon who guards this passage presents a different test than the one you faced leaving Lunia. Where the first test emphasized basic virtue and goodness, this test demands proof of wisdom and learning. Strength alone will not carry you to the third heaven. You must demonstrate that you understand why you fight, that you possess knowledge and insight to guide your actions. Pass this test, and the passage opens. Fail, and you return to Mercuria to continue your development. You pass. The passage opens. You step through, and once again, everything transforms. The golden light of Mercuria fades, replaced by a soft, pearly white radiance that seems to emanate from the air itself. You have reached Venya, the pearly heaven, the third layer of Mount Celestia. The atmosphere of Venya differs profoundly from Mercuria's martial energy. Where the golden heaven buzzed with activity and the sounds of training, the pearly heaven feels contemplative, peaceful, quieter. The mountains here are old, their peaks rounded by ages of weathering. Where Mercuria's sharp peaks thrust dramatically skyward, Venya's mountains roll gently, their slopes covered in forests and meadows. This is a softer landscape, less dramatic, but no less beautiful. Warm brooks trickle through the valleys, their water fresh and pure. Unlike Mercuria's rushing rivers, these streams flow slowly, creating pools where you can rest and drink. The water here possesses special properties. It refreshes not just the body, but the mind and spirit. Scholars and philosophers who drink from Venya's brooks find their thoughts clarifying, complex problems becoming easier to understand. Life flourishes everywhere on Venya. The forests grow thick with trees bearing fruit that never spoils. Animals move through the woods without fear, for there are no predators here. Birds sing constantly, their melodies complex and beautiful. Everything about the layer speaks to abundance and growth, but growth of a different sort than Mercuria's martial development. Here, the growth is intellectual, spiritual, philosophical. The white pearlescent light that fills Venya creates an atmosphere perfect for study and contemplation. It is bright enough to read by, to see clearly, but soft enough that it never becomes harsh or glaring. The light seems to reveal truth, to make it easier to see through deception and illusion. Many who come to Venya remark that they see more clearly here, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. Libraries and monasteries dot the landscape of Venya. These structures, built of white stone with graceful architecture, serve as centers of learning and wisdom. Inside these buildings, you find scrolls and books containing knowledge gathered from across the multiverse, histories of ancient civilizations, philosophical treatises on the nature of good and evil, practical guides to magic and craftsmanship, religious texts from countless faiths. All knowledge that serves goodness finds its way eventually to Venya's libraries. Monks and scholars populate these institutions. Some are petitioners who valued learning in their mortal lives and continue their studies in the afterlife. Others are celestial beings dedicated to preserving and sharing knowledge. Unlike some repositories of knowledge that guard their secrets jealously, Venya's libraries welcome all sincere seekers. The only requirement is genuine desire to learn, to grow in understanding. Walking the paths between libraries, you encounter meditating ascetics. These individuals, both mortal visitors and petitioner souls, sit in contemplation for hours, days, even years at a time. They are not idle. They are engaged in deep philosophical and spiritual work, examining the nature of reality, seeking truth through introspection. Approach one of these ascetics, and they may speak with you, offering insights in the form of questions rather than answers. The monks of Venya, often called the monks of the crystal heaven, believe that truth cannot simply be given. It must be earned, discovered, realized through personal effort and understanding. Ancient stone bridges span ravines and valleys throughout Venya. These bridges are architectural marvels, single arches of stone spanning impossible distances with no visible support. Yet they are perfectly safe. Walk across one, and you hear something remarkable, the sounds of ancient prayers echoing from below. These are not recordings or illusions. The stones themselves remember the countless prayers spoken on this layer over eons, and they echo those prayers continuously, creating a subtle backdrop of devotion that pervades Venya. Waterfalls cascade down the mountainsides, their water pure and crystalline. These falls are said to heal body and soul, Stand beneath one, let the water pour over you, and you feel not just physical cleansing, but spiritual renewal. Wounds heal. Troubled thoughts settle. The burden of past mistakes lightens, not because those mistakes are forgotten, but because you gain perspective and understanding that allows you to learn from them rather than being crushed by them. The lesson of Venya is wisdom, where Lunia taught basic virtue and Mercuria taught martial courage. Venya teaches that true goodness requires understanding. You must know why something is right or wrong, not just follow rules blindly. You must understand the consequences of your actions, the complexities of moral situations, the wisdom to make difficult choices when no perfect option exists. This layer develops the philosophical and intellectual foundation that supports virtuous action. Petitioners on Venya often spend long periods in study. A warrior who climbed quickly through Lunia and Mercuria might arrive here and discover gaps in their understanding. They know how to fight evil, but do they truly understand what makes something evil? They have courage, but do they have wisdom? Venya fills these gaps, ensuring that those who climb higher are not just strong and virtuous, but also wise. Halflings find particular affinity with Venya, and many halfling petitioners make this layer their permanent home. Their deity resides here, and the peaceful, abundant nature of the pearly heaven suits the halfling temperament. You will find halfling communities throughout Venya, small villages of comfortable homes where the inhabitants live simple, contemplative lives focused on learning and spiritual growth. The seasons affect Venya in ways not seen on lower layers. During winter, ice forms along the shores of rivers and brooks, making the upper reaches of the layer difficult to travel. This is not punishment or obstacle, but rather part of the layer's teaching. Winter represents times of contemplation, periods when external activity must slow so that internal growth can accelerate. Those who climb Venya during winter months find themselves drawn more deeply into study and meditation, the icy conditions encouraging them to spend time in the warm libraries rather than traveling the slopes. As you explore Venya, you realize that the martial energy of Mercuria has not been abandoned, but rather integrated and transcended. The warriors who climb to this layer do not forget their training. Instead, they add wisdom to their strength, becoming not just strong fighters, but wise defenders of good. A sword Archon studying in Venya's libraries learns the histories of past conflicts, understanding patterns of evil's tactics, developing strategies beyond simple force of arms. The passages leading upward from Venya to the fourth layer, Selenia, demand proof that you have internalized the layer's lessons. The Warden Archon here tests not just your knowledge, but your wisdom, your ability to apply what you have learned to complex situations. Book learning alone will not suffice. You must demonstrate true understanding, the kind that comes only from deep contemplation and genuine insight. Venya represents the point where the climb up Mount Celestia begins to separate casual visitors from serious pilgrims. Many reach this layer and go no higher, content to spend eternity in study and contemplation. The fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh layers require even greater development, even deeper commitment to the journey. But standing on Venya, having climbed from the silver shores of Lunia through the golden training grounds of Mercuria to the pearly wisdom of this third heaven, you understand that Mount Celestia is not simply about reaching the top. It is about the transformation that occurs with each step upward, the way each layer refines and perfects the soul, building toward an ultimate goodness that, while perhaps never fully achieved, becomes ever more possible. Section 4. Selenia and Mercian, the silver and platinum heavens. The passage from Venya opens before you, and you step through into a completely different world. The pearly light vanishes, replaced by a soft glow like burnished silver that seems to emanate from the very sky itself. Mist curls around you immediately, thick silvery fog that obscures the landscape beyond a few dozen feet. You have arrived on Selenia, the Electrum Heaven, sometimes called the Crystal Heaven, the fourth layer of Mount Celestia. The first thing you notice is the cold, where the lower layers maintained comfortable, pleasant temperatures. Selenia greets you with a chill in the air. This is not the biting, dangerous cold of a mortal winter storm. Rather, it is a clean, crisp cold that invigorates rather than threatens. Take a breath, and the cold air fills your lungs, sharpening your senses, clearing your mind. Selenia has the harshest wintry climate of any of the seven heavens. High in the peaks above you, rivers have frozen into glaciers of holy water, and waterfalls hang suspended as ice. The mist that surrounds you is not ordinary fog. It glows faintly with the same silver light that illuminates the sky, creating an atmosphere both mysterious and holy. The fog veils the valleys, hiding what lies ahead, obscuring distant landmarks. This creates a unique experience on Selenia, where the lower layers allowed you to see far ahead, to plan your route and understand the geography. Selenia reveals itself only gradually. You must walk into the unknown, trusting that the path will become clear as you need it. Between the fog-shrouded valleys rise soaring mountain ranges, their peaks stretching high into the silver sky. These mountains are rich with ore, veins of precious metals running through the stone. Silver, gold, platinum, and metals that exist only on the outer plains glitter in the rock faces. But these resources are not hoarded or fought over. They serve a higher purpose, one that defines the very nature of Selenia. This layer is the home of the dwarves in the afterlife. The dwarven god, known to many as Moradin, though he bears other names in different worlds and cultures, dwells here deep within the mountain. His realm, the great dwarven citadel called Arakener, crowns the shoulders of the highest peaks. Baranar Trusilver, his wife and partner, resides here with him. Together, they maintain what might be the most sacred place in all of Selenia, the Soul Forges. The Soul Forges are exactly what their name suggests. Here, in fires hotter than any mortal furnace, at anvils that have existed since the dawn of creation. Moradin himself works at forging souls. According to dwarven belief, every dwarf who will ever live is created in these forges. Moradin takes raw spiritual essence and shapes it, hammers it, tempers it, creating a dwarf soul with all its unique characteristics and potential. The sound of his hammer striking the anvil echoes through Celestia constantly, a rhythmic ringing that serves as the heartbeat of the layer. But the soul forges do not only create new souls, they also reforge and perfect existing ones. Dwarven petitioners who reach Celestia often find themselves drawn to a reckoner, where they work alongside their god in the forges. They do not create souls themselves, for that is the province of divinity, but they craft weapons, armor, and magical items of surpassing quality. Every piece created in a reckoner's forges is a masterwork, imbued not just with superior craftsmanship, but with the very essence of lawful good that permeates Mount Celestia. The items forged here sometimes find their way to the lower planes, gifted to champions of good who need weapons in their fight against evil. A sword forged in a reckoner might become a holy avenger in the hands of a paladin, a weapon that burns with righteous fire when striking fiends. Armor crafted here provides not just physical protection, but spiritual strength, bolstering the wearer's resolve against corruption and temptation. Moradin's work causes the storms that sometimes rage across Celestia. When he stokes the soul forges to their highest heat, when he works on a creation of particular importance, the weather of the entire layer responds. Clouds gather. Thunder rolls across the peaks. Rain falls, sometimes gentle, sometimes in torrents. These storms are not random or chaotic. They reflect the creative process occurring in the forges, the spiritual energy being shaped and directed. Those caught in these storms report feeling inspired, filled with a desire to create, to build, to craft something of lasting value. Throughout Celestia, you find evidence of the layer's emphasis on creation and craftsmanship. Shrines dot the mountainsides, small structures built with perfect stonework. Temples rise in the valleys, their architecture demonstrating principles of balance and harmony. Monasteries cling to cliffsides, places where monks dedicate themselves to perfecting both body and spirit through discipline and contemplation. Libraries house not just books, but also blueprints, diagrams, and schematics for everything from simple tools to complex magical devices. Hidden within the fog-enshrouded peaks and mysterious valleys of Celestia lies one of the most renowned and difficult-to-reach locations on this layer, the Monastery of the Seven Flowers. Few have laid eyes upon this sacred place, despite its reputation. The monastery serves as the dwelling of the Grand Master of Flowers, a figure of profound mystery and unsurpassed celestial wisdom. The Grand Master of Flowers remains an enigma even to the monks who tend the monastery and serve as its guardians. Some believe the Grand Master is a mortal who has achieved ultimate enlightenment, a ascending through perfect discipline and understanding to a state approaching divinity. Others claim the Grandmaster is a celestial being, an Archon or angel who chose the path of monastic contemplation rather than martial service. The truth remains unknown, for the Grandmaster rarely appears even to those who live in the monastery, preferring to guide through example and subtle influence rather than direct teaching. Those who seek the monastery of the Seven Flowers find the journey itself serves as a test. The paths through Selenia's fog-veiled valleys offer countless opportunities to lose your way. The cold challenges your endurance. The isolation tests your resolve. Only those with pure purpose and unwavering determination reach the monastery's gates. Those who arrive seeking power for its own sake, or hoping to learn secret techniques they can use for personal gain, find the monastery forever beyond their reach, hidden by the mists, no matter how hard they search. But those who come with genuine desire for wisdom, who seek to perfect themselves not for glory, but for the sake of goodness itself, sometimes find the mists parting before them. The monastery appears, a structure of elegant simplicity built into the mountainside. Its architecture demonstrates perfect understanding of balance and harmony. Every stone, every beam, every tile has been placed with deliberate purpose. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is excessive. The building itself teaches lessons about restraint, efficiency, and the beauty that emerges from disciplined simplicity. Pilgrims journey to Selenia from across the multiverse, seeking difficult answers, where Venya offered libraries and scholars to help with intellectual questions. Selenia provides something deeper. The questions that bring people here are not academic puzzles, but profound spiritual challenges. How do I reconcile my desire for vengeance with the demand for mercy? How do I maintain faith when everything I believed has been shaken? How do I find meaning in suffering? These are the questions that echo through Selenia's valleys, and the answers, when they come, emerge not from books or teachers, but from the journey itself, from the process of climbing through the mist and cold, from the discipline of continuing forward when the path is unclear. The glaciers that form in Selenia's highest peaks create a landscape unlike anything on the lower layers. These are not ordinary ice formations. They are frozen holy water blessed by the nature of the plain itself. Walk across one of these glaciers and you feel the sanctity beneath your feet. The ice glows faintly with inner light. Crevasses reveal depths filled with crystalline beauty. Frozen waterfalls create walls of ice that refract the silver skylight into countless shimmering colors. Despite the cold and the challenging terrain, life flourishes on Selenia in forms adapted to the environment. Mountain goats with silver-white fur navigate the steepest slopes. Eagles with feathers that shimmer like metal soar above the peaks. In the valleys, where the mist provides moisture and shelter, hardy plants grow, their leaves tough enough to survive the cold, their roots drawing nourishment from the holy soil. The lesson of Selenia is patience and endurance. Where Lunia taught basic virtue, Mercuria taught martial courage, and Venya taught wisdom, Selenia teaches the discipline to continue when the path is difficult, when the goal is obscured, when the journey itself becomes a trial. This layer refines souls through gentle but persistent challenge. The cold never becomes unbearable, but it never fully relents. The mist never becomes impenetrable, but it never fully clears. You must learn to function in these conditions, to maintain your purpose despite the obstacles, to trust that the path leads upward even when you cannot see more than a few steps ahead. Dwarven petitioners thrive on Selenia, finding in its challenges the same satisfaction they found in their mortal lives when facing difficult projects and demanding craftsmanship. But members of all races can learn Selenia's lessons. Humans, elves, halflings, all who climb to this layer discover aspects of themselves they never knew existed. Weaknesses become apparent in the cold and mist, but so do hidden strengths. You learn what truly matters to you when everything else is stripped away by the harsh beauty of the Electrum heaven. As you continue your journey upward through Selenia, climbing higher toward the passages that lead to the fifth layer, you notice the silver light growing brighter. The sky, already luminous, begins to shine with increasing intensity. The mist starts to thin, not suddenly, but gradually, revealing more of the landscape ahead. You are approaching the transition to Mercian. The Warden Archon who guards this passage presents perhaps the most difficult test yet. Where previous tests emphasized virtue, strength, and wisdom, this test demands proof of endurance and refined character. You must demonstrate that you have been purified by your journey through the 4 lower layers, that the flaws and impurities that might have clung to your soul when you first arrived on Lunia have been burned away like dross in a forge. Only those who have achieved this level of spiritual refinement can ascend to Mercian. You pass. The passage opens. You step through, and the transformation is immediate and overwhelming. The silver light of Selenia becomes a bright, piercing radiance so pure and intense that you must shield your eyes for a moment. You have reached Mercian, the platinum heaven, the 5th layer of Mount Celestia. The sky above Mercian shines with a silver light so bright and pure that it possesses destructive power. Any undead creature that somehow managed to reach this layer, any being animated by negative energy and sustained by evil, would immediately burn to ash under this radiant sky. The light is not merely illumination. It is purity made manifest. Goodness so concentrated that evil cannot exist in its presence. For you, with goodness in your heart and virtue in your soul, the light does not harm. Instead, it fills you with strength and clarity. The landscape of Mercian differs dramatically from Selenia's fog-veiled mountains. Here, vast sweeping plains stretch to the horizon, silver-bright grasslands that shimmer in the intense skylight. Beautiful mountain lakes dot the landscape, their waters so clear you can see to depths that should be impossible. The shores of these lakes provide places of rest and contemplation, and the water itself carries healing properties, that surpass even the blessed streams of lower layers. Across these plains, you see immaculate fortresses rising, structures of gleaming white stone and polished metal that reflect the platinum light. These are not military installations, though they could serve defensive purposes if needed. Rather, they are gathering places for the highest orders of celestial beings, locations where Archons and angels plan their interventions in the eternal struggle between good and evil. The most distinctive features of Mershen's landscape are the massive black domes that appear throughout the layer. These domes, enormous structures of dark stone that contrast sharply with the bright surroundings, serve a specific purpose. Their summits hide the passages leading upward to the sixth layer, Jovar. To ascend from Mershen, you must first gain entry to one of these domes, navigate its interior, and prove yourself worthy to climb to its summit where the passage waits. The city of Empiria rises from the plains of Mershen, a metropolis dedicated entirely to healing. This city serves as the primary hospital of Mount Celestia, a place where beings from across the upper plains come to be restored from injuries and illnesses that even magical healing struggles to cure. Fountains throughout Empiria flow with water that possesses miraculous healing properties. Drink from these fountains, and wounds close, diseases flee, even curses and afflictions that have persisted for years to solve. Master physicians work in Empiria, celestial healers with knowledge spanning millennia. They treat not just physical ailments, but spiritual wounds, the damage that evil inflicts on the soul. A paladin who was tortured by fiends, who suffered not just bodily harm, but psychological and spiritual trauma, might come to Empiria to be made whole again. The healers here work with infinite patience, understanding that true restoration cannot be rushed. Empiria also serves as a rally point for orders of mercy and crusade. These organizations, dedicated to fighting evil and protecting the innocent across the multiverse, maintain halls and headquarters in the city. Here, they plan their missions, train their members, and rest between campaigns. The combination of healing and military purpose reflects Mershen's character: refined strength, power wielded with perfect precision and restraint. Throughout Mershen, you encounter celestial beings of remarkable power. Quaddles, the feathered serpents of lawful good, dance through the air above the plains. Their scales shimmer in rainbow colors, and their presence brings joy and inspiration to all who see them. Devas, angelic beings of radiant beauty and terrible power, move across the layer, serving as messengers for the divine powers who dwell on Mount Celestia. Empyreans, the children of gods themselves, maintain mighty fortresses and command vast hosts of lesser celestials. Pegasi and Holophants, celestial creatures of grace and power, serve as war mounts and companions for various celestial riders. The sight of a sword Archon mounted on a Pegasus, or a trumpet Archon riding a Holophant, inspires awe and demonstrates the harmonious cooperation that defines Mount Celestia. Every being here, from the mightiest Empyrean to the smallest creature, works together in service of lawful good. Planeters, among the most powerful of angels, occasionally visit the sixth layer of Mount Celestia to relax and enjoy fine company, though they are assigned to specific duties across the upper planes and rarely leave their posts for long. When they do appear on Mercian, their presence is cause for celebration, for planeters carry news and wisdom from across the cosmos. The lesson of Mercian is purity and perfection, where the lower layers each taught specific virtues and built particular strengths. Mercian demands integration and refinement of everything learned below. You cannot reach this layer through mastering only one aspect of goodness. You must have developed virtue, courage, wisdom, endurance, and patience. Mercian refines these qualities further, burning away the last impurities, forging you into something approaching the celestial ideal. Standing on the plains of Mercian, beneath the intensely bright silver sky, surrounded by the highest orders of celestial beings and the most refined souls in all the multiverse, you understand how far you have climbed. 4 layers below, the silver sea laps against Lunia's black sand beaches. Behind and below you lies everything you have learned and become. Ahead, hidden within the black domes, wait the passages to Jovar, the 6th heaven, and beyond that, shrouded in mystery and divine radiance, lies Cronia's, the 7th and final layer, the illuminated summit where even the knowledge you have gained cannot fully prepare you for what awaits. Section 5, Jovar and Cronia's, the glittering and illuminated heavens. You enter one of the massive black domes that dot Mercian's plains. Inside, the structure proves far larger than its exterior suggests. A vast space that seems to contain entire worlds within its dark walls. You navigate passages and chambers, each one testing some aspect of your character, until finally you emerge at the summit. Before you stretches a passage unlike any you have encountered before. It does not lead through stone or open into a simple doorway. Instead, it appears as a beam of pure radiance, a shaft of light so intense and beautiful that looking directly at it brings tears to your eyes. You step into this light, and the universe transforms around you. You have reached Jovar, the glittering heaven, the 6th layer of Mount Celestia. The transformation is immediate and overwhelming. Everything here sparkles and shimmers with crystalline radiance. The very air seems to be made of light, each particle glowing with its own inner fire. The landscape beneath your feet consists of gemstones, not scattered precious stones, but entire mountains carved from single massive gems. Ruby peaks rise in the distance, their red facets catching and refracting the light into countless shades of crimson and rose. Sapphire cliffs gleam with deep blue radiance. Emerald valleys glow with living green fire. Diamond formations thrust toward the sky like crystalline fingers reaching for something beyond sight. The sky above Jovar defies description in ordinary terms. It is not simply bright or beautiful. 7 celestial bodies hang in this sky. 7 perfect spheres of light that are neither suns nor moons, but something altogether different. These are the 7 stars of Jovar, and they represent the 7 virtues that Mount Celestia embodies: humility, generosity, courage, wisdom, patience, mercy, and devotion. Each star radiates a different quality of light, and together they illuminate Jovar with radiance so pure that merely existing in this environment elevates the soul. Standing on this layer, you understand immediately that very few beings ever reach this height. The petitioners you see here, souls that have climbed through 5 layers below, have achieved a level of goodness and purity that borders on the divine. They move with grace that seems effortless, speak with voices that carry harmonies you never noticed in mortal speech, and their very presence radiates peace and joy. These are not simply good souls. They are souls that have been refined through countless trials and tests, that have proven themselves again and again, that have achieved a state approaching perfection. The celestial beings who dwell on Jovar represent the highest orders of their kind. Sword Archons here possess power that dwarfs their counterparts on lower layers. Trumpet Archons command forces that could reshape entire battlefields. Planeters, among the mightiest of angels, visit this layer to rest and enjoy the company of their peers. When you see one of these magnificent beings, standing twice the height of a human, their wings spread wide and radiating holy light, you understand what divine beauty truly means. At the heart of Jovar rises the most extraordinary structure in all the 7 heavens, Yetzirah, a ziggurat of 7 ascending layers that mirrors in miniature the structure of Mount Celestia itself. This is not a building in any conventional sense. It is a sacred geometry made manifest, a physical representation of the spiritual journey from Lunia to Cronias. Each of the ziggurat's 7 levels corresponds to one of the 7 layers of the mountain, and climbing Yetzirah is itself a form of pilgrimage, a way of reflecting on the entire journey upward. The lowest level of Yetzirah, corresponding to Lunia, is built of silver stone that gleams with the same gentle radiance as the silver heaven's starlight. The second level, representing Mercuria, consists of golden crystal that captures and holds the martial light of the golden heaven. The third level mirrors Venya with white pearl that seems to contain infinite wisdom in its lustrous surface. The fourth level reflects Selenia's silver mists in translucent crystal that appears sometimes solid, sometimes ethereal. The fifth level represents Mercian in platinum brilliance, so bright it challenges even the radiance of Jovar itself. The sixth level, the current layer, is built of every gemstone imaginable, a riot of color and light that embodies Javar's glittering magnificence. And the seventh level, the summit of Yetzirah, corresponds to Cronias. What this level is made of, no mortal can truly say, for looking at it directly proves impossible. It appears as pure light, radiance so intense and perfect that it cannot be perceived directly, but only glimpsed from the corner of your eye, sensed rather than seen. This seventh level serves as the foundation for the only known passage to Cronias, the final and highest layer of Mount Celestia. Spanning from the summit of Yetzirah into the impossible light beyond stretches the bridge of Al-Sihul. This bridge is not made of stone or metal or any material substance. It is constructed of pure, shimmering light, each step solid beneath your feet, yet appearing insubstantial as a sunbeam. The bridge arcs upward, climbing towards something that your eyes cannot quite perceive, a destination that exists beyond normal space and comprehension. Guarding the bridge of Al-Sihul stands Ziarona, one of the mightiest solars in all creation. Solars are the supreme angels, celestial beings of such power that they serve as generals and champions for the gods themselves. Ziarona appears as a figure of impossible beauty and terrible might, radiating power that could unmake lesser beings with a thought. Yet despite this overwhelming strength, Ziarona's demeanor is not threatening, but welcoming. For this solar serves not to keep worthy souls away from Cronias, but to ensure that only those truly ready make the final ascent. Ziarona's test is unlike any Warden Archon's examination, where the guardians of lower passages tested specific virtues and qualities. Ziarona looks into the very essence of who you are. This solar perceives not just your actions, but your motivations, not just your achievements, but the desires that drive you, not just your current state, but your ultimate potential. Standing before Ziarona, you cannot hide anything. Every flaw, every remaining imperfection, every shadow of selfishness or doubt becomes visible in the light of this solar's gaze. For most beings, even those who have climbed all the way to Jovar, Ziarona's judgment is the same. Not yet. These souls are turned away from the bridge, not in punishment or disappointment, but in recognition that they still have growth ahead of them. They return to Jovar or descend to lower layers to continue their development, knowing that perhaps in another century, another millennium, they might return and find themselves ready. But for the very few, the truly exceptional souls who have achieved a state of goodness so complete that no imperfection remains, Ziarona steps aside and allows passage across the bridge of Al-Sihul. These souls walk forward into the light, their forms growing dimmer as they ascend, until they vanish completely into the radiance ahead. They have entered Cronias, the illuminated heaven, the seventh and final layer of Mount Celestia. From Jovar, you can see Cronias, though see is perhaps the wrong word. You perceive it, sense it, know that it exists above you. It appears as overwhelming light, radiance so pure and intense that it seems impossible anything could exist within it. This is not the destructive light of a star's surface or the searing heat of a furnace. It is the light of perfect goodness, of absolute truth, of divine presence made visible. Within that light dwells something beyond mortal comprehension. What is Cronias? The question has been asked by scholars and sages throughout existence, and no definitive answer has ever been given for a simple reason. Those who enter Cronias do not return. The seventh heaven is not a place that souls visit and then leave. It is the ultimate destination, the final goal, the end of the journey that begins on Lunia's silver shores. To enter Cronia's is to be transformed so completely, to merge so fully with the divine goodness that creates and sustains Mount Celestia, that you cease to exist as an individual being in any meaningful sense. Some believe that Cronia's is the dwelling place of the gods themselves, not the divine realms that appear on lower layers, but the true essence of divinity. Others claim it is the source of all the light that illuminates the 6 layers below, a cosmic wellspring of goodness from which all virtue flows. Still others suggest that Cronia's exists outside of time and space entirely, occupying a state of being that transcends the normal rules of existence. The few scraps of information that exist about Cronia's come not from those who have entered it, but from celestial beings who have approached its borders and turned back, and from visions granted to prophets and holy beings in the mortal world. These fragmentary accounts describe Cronia's as a realm of pure light where physical forms dissolve and only spirit remains. They speak of a presence so overwhelming, so perfect in its goodness, that encountering it directly would unmake any being not perfectly prepared for the experience. The celestial beings who dwell permanently on Mount Celestia regard Cronia's with awe and reverence. Even the mightiest solars, even the most ancient Archons, even the gods who maintain realms on the lower layers, speak of the 7th heaven in hushed, respectful tones. It represents the ultimate possibility, the final perfection toward which all goodness strives. To enter Cronia's is to achieve the goal of existence itself, to become one with the source of all that is good and right and true. Standing on Jovar, gazing upward at the light of Cronia's, you feel something you have never experienced before. It is not desire in the usual sense, not ambition or greed for something you do not have. Rather, it is a deep recognition that this light represents your true home, your ultimate destination, the place where you will finally be complete. Every step of your journey from Lunia through the layers above has brought you closer to this moment of understanding. You are not climbing the mountain to escape something or to gain something. You are climbing toward reunion with a goodness that has always existed within you. That is your true nature when all corruption and imperfection has been stripped away. The fortress of Pax Exaltia rises from the gemstone mountains of Jovar, home to Celtial the Defender. This powerful solar commands one of the most impressive standing armies in all the heavens, a host of celestial warriors dedicated to a single purpose, preventing any impure being from reaching Cronia's. Celtial serves as the ultimate guardian of the 7th heaven, the final defense ensuring that only those truly worthy complete the ascent. Yet Celtial's role is not primarily military. Evil beings who somehow managed to reach Jovar through deception or trickery would find themselves unable to exist in the layer's overwhelming purity, destroyed by the environment itself long before Celtial's armies engaged them. Rather, Celtial and the forces of Pax Exaltia serve a more subtle purpose. They protect those climbing the mountain from making a mistake that cannot be undone. A soul who attempts to enter Cronias before they are truly ready faces not rejection, but annihilation. For the light of the seventh heaven would burn away everything imperfect. And if imperfection still remains in you, nothing would survive that burning. Celestial's forces gently, but firmly turn back those who attempt to cross the bridge of Al-Sihil without Ziarona's permission. They escort beings who have become confused or lost on Jovar back to safer regions. They maintain watch over the entire layer, ensuring that the sanctity of Cronias remains protected. This is not tyranny or cruel guardianship, but rather the deepest form of mercy. For Celestial saves souls from destroying themselves through premature ascent. Life on Jovar, for the rare petitioners and visitors who reach this layer, revolves entirely around preparation for the final step. Some souls spend what might be ages in mortal terms dwelling here, studying, meditating, perfecting themselves, until that day when they stand before Ziarona and finally receive permission to cross the bridge. Others arrive on Jovar and almost immediately find themselves ready, their journey through the lower layers having completed all necessary preparation. There is no schedule, no expected timeline. Each soul progresses at the pace appropriate to their individual development. The gemstone mountains of Jovar serve purposes beyond their breathtaking beauty. Each type of stone resonates with different virtues and qualities. Ruby mountains strengthen courage and passion for good. Sapphire cliffs deepen wisdom and understanding. Emerald valleys nurture growth and renewal. Diamond peaks reveal truth and dispel illusion. Walking among these mountains, allowing their radiance to wash over you, subtly shapes and refines your spirit, bringing you ever closer to the perfection required for Cronias. Music fills the air of Jovar constantly, though no musicians are visible. This is the music of the spheres, the harmonic resonance created by the 7 stars moving in their perfect celestial dance. Each star produces its own note, and together they create chords of such beauty and complexity that merely hearing them elevates the soul. The music is not loud or overwhelming. Rather, it forms a subtle background, ever present but never intrusive, supporting and enhancing every experience on the layer. You might encounter rare visitors to Jovar, beings from other planes who have been granted special permission to glimpse this layer. A mortal hero, still alive in the material world, might be brought here in a vision to see what awaits the righteous. A planeter on special mission might pass through on their way to lower layers. These visitors never stay long, for the radiance of Jovar is difficult for beings who have not completed the full spiritual journey to endure for extended periods. The lesson of Jovar, if it can be called a lesson when you have already learned so much, is ultimate dedication. Here, at the threshold of divinity itself, the question becomes not, am I good enough? But am I willing to surrender everything I am to become something greater? Cronias does not ask you to be virtuous or strong or wise. or patient. It asks you to be nothing and everything simultaneously, to dissolve your individual identity into perfect unity with absolute goodness. Some souls, even after reaching Jovar, choose not to cross the bridge of Al-Sihil. This is not failure. Mount Celestia offers infinite beauty and perfect goodness on every layer. A soul might find profound fulfillment dwelling on Jovar for eternity, serving in Celtial's armies, studying the mysteries of the gemstone mountains, experiencing the joy of existence in this glittering paradise. Cronia's is the ultimate goal, but it is not mandatory. The journey itself has value. The growth achieved in climbing through the layers represents genuine accomplishment regardless of whether you complete the final step. But for those who feel the call, who know in the core of their being that they must continue upward, who cannot rest until they have merged with the source of all light, Cronia's waits. Beyond the bridge of Al-Sihil, beyond Ziarona's guardianship, beyond the limits of mortal understanding, the seventh heaven exists in eternal perfection. Those who enter become part of that perfection, their individual stories ending as they contribute to a greater story that encompasses all of Mount Celestia, all of the multiverse, all of existence itself. Standing on Jovar, looking upward at the light of Cronia's, you understand the full scope of Mount Celestia's nature. This is not simply a paradise where good souls rest. It is a path of transformation, a cosmic ladder reaching from the barely virtuous to the absolutely divine. Every layer serves its purpose. Every test refines the soul. Every challenge overcome brings you one step closer to the ultimate truth that awaits at the summit. The journey from Lunia to Cronia's is the journey from flawed goodness to perfect goodness, from mortal understanding to divine comprehension, from individual existence to unity with the source of all that is right and true. Section 6: Deities, Celestials, and Cosmic Significance. Mount Celestia exists not in isolation, but as part of a vast cosmic structure, a keystone in the architecture of good that spans the multiverse. Understanding the seven heavens requires understanding the beings who make it their home, the gods who choose to dwell upon its slopes, and the role this plane plays in the eternal struggle between righteousness and corruption. The mountain is more than geography, more than a ladder of spiritual ascent. It is a living force in the cosmos, actively shaping reality toward goodness and order. The gods who claim domains on Mount Celestia are numerous and diverse, each drawn to the plane because its nature resonates with their divine essence. Bahamut, the platinum dragon, is perhaps the most prominent deity associated with the seven heavens. His palace, constructed of mithril with windows of precious gemstones, moves between layers, but most often appears on Mercuria, the golden heaven. Bahamut embodies the ideals Mount Celestia represents: justice tempered with mercy, strength wielded in defense of the weak, law that serves goodness rather than suppressing it. Seven great worms, ancient dragons of gold, silver, and bronze, guard his palace and serve as his honored companions when Bahamut rides forth from Mount Celestia to intervene in mortal affairs. He often disguises himself as an old man traveling with 7 canaries, a humble appearance that conceals his true magnificence. Moradin, the dwarven god of creation and craft, maintains his realm deep within Celestia, the 4th layer. His forge, known as the Soul Forge, burns with fires hotter than any mortal furnace can produce. Here, Moradin performs his most sacred work, forging the souls of dwarves who will be born into the material world. The rhythmic sound of his hammer striking the anvil echoes through Celestia constantly, a heartbeat that reminds all who hear it that creation is ongoing, that goodness is always being forged anew. Baranar Trusilver, Moradin's consort, dwells alongside him, representing the nurturing and protective aspects of dwarven culture. Together, they embody the dwarven virtues of hard work, loyalty, craftsmanship, and community. Tyr, the god of justice, once maintained a significant presence on Mount Celestia. His court of justice served as a place where cosmic matters of law and righteousness were debated and decided. Though Tyr died during the events surrounding the Time of Troubles and has since been restored in some timelines, his influence on Mount Celestia remains profound. The very concept of justice tempered by mercy, of law that serves rather than oppresses, reflects Tyrian ideals. His followers, paladins and clerics dedicated to righteous judgment, often make pilgrimages to Mount Celestia to meditate on the nature of true justice. Torm, god of duty, courage, and self-sacrifice, maintains his court of light on Mercuria, the 2nd layer. Where Tyr represents justice as judgment, Torm represents justice as action, the willingness to stand against evil regardless of personal cost. His domain attracts warriors and paladins who understand that defending goodness sometimes requires ultimate sacrifice. The training grounds of Mercuria resonate with Torm's teachings, and many of the celestial warriors who drill on those golden fields do so in his name. Ilmater, the god of endurance and compassion for the suffering, finds his place among the 7 heavens as well. His presence influences Celestia particularly, where the themes of endurance through hardship and finding meaning in suffering align with his divine nature. Ilmater teaches that strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from bearing it with grace, from using one's own suffering to develop empathy for others. This philosophy meshes perfectly with Mount Celestia's emphasis on growth through challenge. Beyond the well-known deities of human and dwarven pantheons, Mount Celestia hosts divine powers from cultures across the multiverse. Amaterasu, goddess of the sun and order from Eastern traditions, maintains a realm on Mercuria. Her radiance adds to the golden light of that layer, and her emphasis on harmony and proper conduct reinforces the lawful aspects of Mount Celestia's nature. Giru, a deity of fire and justice from ancient traditions, also claims territory on the Golden Heaven. These diverse divine presences demonstrate that Mount Celestia's appeal transcends cultural boundaries. Any deity whose nature aligns with lawful good finds a welcome home upon the mountain slopes. The celestial beings who inhabit Mount Celestia form a complex hierarchy, each order serving specific purposes in the plane's function. At the foundation are the Archons, the native exemplar race of Mount Celestia, beings who embody lawful good in its purest form. Archons exist in multiple forms, each representing a different stage of celestial development and different aspects of virtue. Lantern Archons appear as simple spheres of light, the most numerous celestial beings in all of Mount Celestia. These glowing orbs drift through the air of Lunia primarily, providing illumination and serving as scouts and sentinels. Despite their simple appearance, Lantern Archons possess full consciousness and intelligence. Many are newly formed from exceptionally virtuous petitioner souls, beginning their existence as celestial beings rather than continuing as mortal souls. Lantern Archons have the unique ability to reveal hidden evil, their light exposing deceptions and illusions that might otherwise go unnoticed. Hound Archons represent the next stage of Archon development. These beings appear as humanoids with canine heads, noble and dignified in bearing. They wear gleaming mail and carry greatswords, serving as warriors and guardians throughout Mount Celestia. Hound Archons are honest to a fault, incapable of deliberate deception, and they value loyalty and friendship above almost all else. When a Lantern Archon has learned the lessons of Lunia and grown in virtue and understanding, it transforms into a Hound Archon, gaining a physical form and greater capacity for action in the world. Warden Archons, appearing as large Hound Archons with bear-like features, guard the passages between layers. These solemn, self-contained beings rarely speak unnecessarily, preferring action to words. They test those who wish to ascend, presenting challenges that reveal whether a soul has truly internalized the lessons of their current layer. Warden Archons are impartial and incorruptible, applying the same standards to all regardless of who they are or what they have accomplished. A god seeking to ascend would face the same tests as a petitioner soul. Sword Archons are the warriors elite of Mount Celestia, powerful celestial beings clad in flaming armor and wielding blazing swords. They appear primarily on Mercuria and the higher layers, where their martial prowess serves the defense of the seven heavens. Sword Archons are not merely strong fighters, but tactical geniuses, understanding strategy and warfare at levels that mortal generals can only dream of achieving. When Mount Celestia's forces mobilize to oppose some great evil, Sword Archons often serve as commanders, leading hosts of lesser Archons and allied Celestials into battle. Trumpet Archons possess metallic skin and voices of tremendous power. When a Trumpet Archon sounds its horn, the blast can inspire allies to heroic effort, strike fear into enemies, or even dispel evil magic. These beings serve as heralds and commanders, their calls to battle rallying celestial forces. constant sound of distant horns heard throughout Mercuria comes partly from trumpet Archons practicing their art, ensuring they are always ready when their abilities are needed. Throne Archons and Tome Archons represent the highest orders of Archonkind. Throne Archons serve as generals and leaders, commanding vast hosts and making strategic decisions that affect the entire plane. Tome Archons embody knowledge and wisdom, serving as scholars and advisors. Both types are rare and powerful, dwelling primarily on the upper layers of Mount Celestia, where their abilities are most needed. Angels form another major category of celestial beings on Mount Celestia. Though unlike Archons, they are not native to the plane. Angels serve gods directly, created to fulfill divine purposes. The most common angels seen on Mount Celestia are Devas, beautiful winged beings of radiant power who serve as messengers and agents for the gods. Devas can appear anywhere in the multiverse at a deity's command, but when not on mission, they often return to Mount Celestia to rest and reflect. Planeters stand among the mightiest angels, towering beings of terrible beauty and overwhelming power. These angels serve as champions and generals, leading celestial armies against major threats. Planeters rarely involve themselves in small conflicts, appearing only when evil threatens on a cosmic scale. When a planeter visits the lower layers of Mount Celestia, their presence is cause for celebration, for these beings carry news and wisdom from across the planes. Solars represent the pinnacle of angelic might, celestial beings so powerful that they rival lesser gods in their capabilities. Each solar is unique, possessing distinctive personality and purpose. Sierrona, who guards the bridge of Alcihel leading to Cronias, is one such solar, entrusted with ensuring that only those truly ready attempt the final ascent. Celtial the Defender, who commands the armies of Jovar from the fortress of Pax Exaltia, represents another solar whose purpose is protecting the highest reaches of Mount Celestia from corruption. Ruling over all celestial beings on Mount Celestia is the Hebdomad, a council of 7 solars who govern the plane and coordinate its defense against evil. The Hebdomad deals with all matters relating to Mount Celestia, including overseeing the Archons, guiding petitioner souls, managing relations with other planes, and organizing the defense of goodness throughout the multiverse. Ancient legends claim that the original 7 members of the Hebdomad were martyrs, whose souls merged with Mount Celestia itself, achieving such perfect goodness that they became inseparable from the plane's essence. Zafkiel, the leader of the Hebdomad, dwells on Cronias itself, the only confirmed being to reside on the 7th layer and remain identifiable as an individual entity. From this ultimate position, Zafkiel guides the work of the other 6 members of the Hebdomad and makes final decisions on matters affecting all 7 heavens. The other members of the Hebdomad each have their domains and responsibilities, working together to ensure that Mount Celestia continues to serve its cosmic purpose. Beyond Archons and angels, Mount Celestia hosts many other types of celestial beings. Quaddles, the feathered serpents of lawful good, dance through the skies above the higher layers, their rainbow scales catching the light. Lamassu, winged lions with humanoid faces, serve as sages and advisors, their vast knowledge making them invaluable consultants on matters of history and lore. Holophants, small elephantine creatures with golden fur and tiny wings, serve as mounts and companions for celestial warriors, their cheerful disposition bringing joy wherever they appear. Pegasi, the winged horses of legend, also make their home on Mount Celestia, allowing righteous beings to ride them in service of good. The role Mount Celestia plays in the cosmic conflict between good and evil cannot be overstated, while the plane itself is a place of peace and spiritual growth. Its inhabitants actively oppose evil wherever it appears in the multiverse. The Blood War, the eternal conflict between demons and devils that rages across the lower planes, indirectly involves Mount Celestia, despite the plane taking no official side in that chaotic evil versus lawful evil struggle. Archons from Mount Celestia sometimes descend into the lower planes to rescue trapped souls or prevent the blood war from spilling into other realms. These missions are dangerous, for even the mightiest celestial can be corrupted or destroyed in the hellish environments of the abyss or the 9 hells. The fall of Zariel serves as a cautionary tale. Once a glorious solar who dwelt on Mount Celestia, Zariel became obsessed with the blood war and the suffering it caused. She yearned to descend and use her powers to smite evil directly, but her exposure to the endless conflict corrupted her. Zariel fell from grace, becoming the Archduchess of Avernus, the first layer of the 9 hells, now serving Asmodeus and the forces of lawful evil she once opposed. Her former home on Lunia, the bastion of the Blessed Banner, stands as a shadowed ruin, watched over by agents of Tyr, as a reminder of how even the greatest can fall if they lose sight of wisdom and allow passion to override judgment. This cautionary tale illustrates an important truth about Mount Celestia's philosophy. Goodness must be balanced, must be wise, must be patient. Pure righteous fury, no matter how well-intentioned, can lead to corruption. This is why the mountain emphasizes wisdom alongside courage, why Venya's libraries exist alongside Mercuria's training grounds, why patience is taught as thoroughly as strength. Mount Celestia understands that defeating evil requires more than overwhelming power. It requires unwavering virtue, strategic thinking, and the wisdom to know when to fight and when to step back. When major threats to the multiverse arise, Mount Celestia can mobilize forces of staggering power. The combined armies of all 7 layers, led by the greatest sword Archons and Planeters, commanded by members of the Hebdomad themselves, represent a force capable of challenging demon lords and archdevils. These mobilizations are rare, reserved for only the most dire circumstances. For Mount Celestia's primary purpose is not warfare, but spiritual development. The plane serves as a beacon, a demonstration that good can triumph, that paradise can exist, that souls can be perfected. Military action, when necessary, supports this purpose, but never becomes the focus. Mount Celestia also serves a crucial role in offering redemption to those who seek it. The plane's openness to beings with genuine desire to change, particularly evident on Lunia, allows even devils and demons who have tired of evil to find a path toward goodness. This is extraordinarily rare, for the nature of fiends binds them strongly to evil. But the possibility exists, and Mount Celestia honors that possibility by maintaining Lunia as a place where redemption can begin. The deliberate vulnerability of the first layer, guarded primarily by lantern Archons who lack military might, creates an environment where repentance can be genuine rather than forced. Philosophically, Mount Celestia represents the answer to a fundamental question: can goodness be structured? Many argue that true goodness must be free, spontaneous, chosen moment by moment, without coercion. Mount Celestia demonstrates that law and goodness are not opposites, but complements. The structure of the 7 layers, the tests between them, the hierarchies of celestial beings, all of this organization serves goodness rather than restricting it. A soul climbing Mount Celestia experiences more freedom with each layer, not less, for they shed the chains of selfishness, ignorance, and moral weakness that truly limit what a being can become. The plane also illustrates that paradise is not passive. Heaven, in the vision Mount Celestia presents, is not a place where souls rest on clouds playing harps for eternity. It is active, purposeful, filled with work and growth and achievement. The dwarven petitioners in Moradin's forges labor as they did in life, but now their work has cosmic significance. The warrior souls training on Mercuria prepare themselves not for glory, but to defend others. The scholars in Venya's libraries study not for personal advancement, but to understand truth more deeply. Every action on Mount Celestia serves a purpose aligned with goodness. And in serving that purpose, souls find fulfillment beyond anything available through passive pleasure. For mortal adventurers and heroes who visit Mount Celestia during their lives, the experience is transformative. To stand on Lunia's shores, to breathe the blessed air of Mercuria, to study in Venya's libraries, or witness the Soul Forges of Selenia. These experiences change a person fundamentally. You return to the material world with a deeper understanding of what goodness means, with inspiration to continue the fight against evil despite overwhelming odds. Mount Celestia proves that your efforts matter, that the struggle has purpose, that somewhere in the multiverse, goodness has already won and waits for all virtuous souls to join in that victory. The 7 heavens of Mount Celestia stand eternal, a cosmic monument to the possibility of perfection through virtue and law. From the silver shores of Lunia, where the journey begins, through the golden fields and pearly heights, past the misted valleys and platinum plains, up to the glittering peaks of Jovar, and the ineffable light of Cronias. The mountain climbs toward ultimate goodness. Every soul who makes this journey, every celestial being who dwells upon these slopes, every god who claims a realm here, all participate in the grand purpose Mount Celestia embodies, demonstrating that good can triumph, that virtue can be perfected, that law can serve rather than oppress, and that somewhere in the vast multiverse, paradise exists not as impossible dream, but as tangible reality. If this journey through the 7 heavens has inspired you, if you have found value in exploring Mount Celestia layer by layer, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Your support allows us to continue bringing you deep dives into the lore and mysteries of Dungeons and Dragons, exploring the planes, the gods, the monsters, and the magic that make this game universe so rich and endlessly fascinating. Thank you for climbing this mountain with me, and may your own journeys, whether in game or in life, always trend upward toward the light.